Set a day of relaxation tomorrow. We've got Tuesday off, and there's Wednesday off, and then there's Thursday off, and then we'll see what we're working on the weekend when we get towards that stage in the week. But it's been a few days kicking back, watching Siege. You're going to Disneyland on Wednesday. I'm going to try and find a French barber, which I'm sure is going to go absolutely swimmingly. Have a bit of fun.
To be fair, you've never done too bad. You've had haircuts all over the world, and you've always managed. So.
The random street barber that I found in Boston was wild.
Yeah.
Expensive. Mate, I pay 15 quid for a cut back home. It was $90 there. And that was a normal thing. They were just like, you're going to tip? I'm just like, what? For $90?
I'm pretty sure I've already done that.
I paid about 5 tips in that already, I think. Are you having a laugh? I couldn't believe it. But it was probably the best cut I think I've ever had. It was very, very good. So I can't complain too much.
Yeah, if it's good, we don't mind paying for it. I think we are just about ready to get on into this one. Daystar versus Dplus Kia are going to kick things off on Nighthaven Labs. And there we go. Round one. So our operator bands have gone through. We've got Kaid and Mirror taken away. And we've got Thermite and Ace being banned out. So Dplus Kia really going in on those hard breach bands. Having a look at the likely lineup. We've got the Hibana there.
I wish I could ban you out, Ace.
Do you? I don't think you do. I think given the opportunity, you would definitely keep me in the lineup.
Who else would ban out the lineup then?
I don't care as long as I'm in it. Doesn't matter to me.
That's the easy politician answer, that one, mate.
Oh, they've switched out, so they've not brought any hard breach, actually. They had.
They'll have gadgets.
They had Hibana.
They've got 6.
Yeah, they had Hibana in the lineup, but rather than bring sort of Hibana or Maverick for the out-and-out hard breach option, they have instead gone with a weight, I think we will call it, of those hard breach gadgets. But I think it's probably down to the site that they're playing against as well. So they're not going to be attacking onto top floor. It's going to be that mid-floor site. It's going to be the storage site. So it does mix things up a little bit. There really isn't, breaching in the same way that you need to do on there.
Imagine how miffed off you'd be. You're at base, getting ready to go on this, top. Well done, Tim. Shot your phone everywhere. You're at base, you're going on this top secret operation. You're all getting ready and loaded up. Right, lads. 6 hard breach gadgets. And you're like, oh, are you taking the piss? 6? They're a bit heavy, them. I don't want to drag them around with me. But that's what they're about to do. Haul them in. I'm ready to start getting things opened up. IT, first one to be opened up and exposed. And that shotgun doing a good bit of work for Azuki here, who's certainly making a bit of a meal of it. But the wall has been opened up, which means they can now march into top floor. There is a player laid down on top floor. It is Levy on the Warden. Probably somewhat mindful of a bunch of flashes coming in his way, or potential smokes being dropped down. Unlikely, but still possible. And he's mainly towards Pecan I'm looking at there, who has those flashes in back pocket. Otherwise, all the secondary gadgets, Tim, as we said, are those hard breach charges and 4 frag grenades.
So the top floor clearance will continue from Daystar. Seal manages to pick up Levy. Good start for them. That leaves just Bullet all alone up there on the top floor. And I think the pressure is going to continue to mount from Daystar here. They know that there's an opportunity to go in and get that other kill. He's just going to hold them back from Aqua for the time being. He's going absolutely, I was going to say he's going absolutely nowhere here, Bullet, but he has scarpered back to those stairs. He's still going to play round about the midpoint and try to use that shield, but something Daystar need to be aware of for the time being at least. They're not too far away from having what they need, but falls is the big problem. If they want to plant inside the storage, they have to deal with this pulse downstairs.
You've seen so many teams suffer through ignoring players that are underneath the site, or in general just underneath them, opening up verticals, whether on attack or on defense. Haven't had to have a player in a good enough position to be able to go and contest them here, so that's what I'd like to see them being slightly mindful of. C4 from Mitty going to find absolutely no one. I'll say it again, Tim, if he gets the ace, he is mighty. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for him to get one of those today. He will struggle against Daystar, I expect. Finds at least one, though, to start the killing in the round. If he gets an ace this round, Tim, I will cry.
He had a great day the other day. Really impressed with Mitty. Played fantastically well, really putting up some big numbers. And like you say, a real opportunity for him to continue that and sort of build himself into the Weibo game, should it be Dplus Kia that get the win. But at the minute, we stand 4 versus 4, 15 seconds left to go. Falls underneath, has been left alone on the pulse. He could be the win or lose condition here for Dplus Kia, because I think we're going to start seeing that diffuser going down at some point. But there you go, Seal has dealt with him just in the nick of time, and the diffuser will be planted. Nears is trying to get something going from up above, but it's not there. Nears looking in the wrong place. Daystar managed to get themselves out of sight, into position, and they know exactly where this challenge is going to come from. The castle does manage to find nearly won. I don't think he's going to find too many more.
No, really good first round from Daystar as well. Like, it was a very slow, methodical approach to their attack, but even as we saw, they were mindful of the pulse downstairs. Didn't go chasing after him into the basement because that invites all kinds of risks to go along with it, but made sure they had an answer to him. And sure enough, one of my favourite coaches at the tournament, firing his boys up there after a good first round.
Yep, great start from Daystar, and they will get themselves a first attack on the board. And look, attacks on Nighthaven aren't always too easy to come by, so getting themselves started off there with what we would see as normally the third choice site, to be fair, it's a good start because that is a round we would really expect you to win on the attack. If you're going to win any, you better be winning there. They're going to go to the two more difficult sites now. It's probably going to be top floor and basement in that order, I would expect. We do see Dplus Kia load into the top floor. This is where the difficulty increases a little bit for Daystar. I think Dplus Kia may be going to storage in that first round of thinking, you know, maybe Daystar are a little bit cold. They're coming into the day. It's their first attack. Maybe we can grab that third choice site straight away. It didn't work out for them, and it might have actually hindered them because now Daystar come into round 2 to what we would say is a more difficult site to attack. And they're already rolling, Des. They've already warmed up. They've already got themselves a few kills under the belt. They've settled into the game. So maybe now they have a better chance of getting this top floor. So what do we want to see from the attackers? We want to see multiple points of pressure. Throughout this Six Invitational, we've seen a lot of the time when teams have come into this one-dimensional, that's when the attacks are lost. You know, we saw a great example of it the other day whereby, I can't remember which team it was now. We've seen so much Nighthaven Labs. But the coach basically, I think it was Fury, was it Fury? Might have been. In attack timeout, the coach basically came in and said, look, we just need to split up here. We need to... Oh, no, it was Super, I think, for Shopify Rebellion. He said, look, we just need to split up. Somebody go Aqua, somebody come from Garage Catwalk, a little bit of pressure on IT, and they did, and they won the round, you know, quite easily. So it is sometimes just about having those multiple sort of pain points, and we'll see whether that's something Daystar can achieve.
Absolutely. We've seen so many teams get single bottlenecks into a one-angle push, as we've seen so many times now. It just costs them the round, essentially, when it makes it a bit too readable. But a rush will definitely help out Tim. They're in there, and that smoke can do absolutely nothing. Joe absolutely rushing his pants off there. No ability to get away either because of the Lion. What a start to the round.
And exactly what I said. We've got Azuki and Seal over by IT, and we've got Souffle and Joe out by Aqua. And then, on top of all that, you've got the Buck, Pecan, working from underneath as well. This is brilliant from Daystar. They are ticking so many boxes. Niers manages to pick up Azuki, but the trade is there. The Blitz is going to see him through the soft wall. Niers still on his feet, but it's Mitty who was downed in all of that. Likely to be finished off nice and easy. And then Seal walks in for the second. 4 versus 1. It's all up to Bullet on the clash. He gets one. How much can he do with this shield?
Not a lot when it's against another one, I'm afraid, Tim. They've got another... Well, a hell of a lot of time to work with here as well. I don't think he's going to have an awful lot to work back with. Only 40 seconds on the clock. As you get into this post-plant situation, they don't need to move here. It's him who's got to make the step forward. And this is a great idea, I think, from Daystar. Don't feel the need to swing onto the clash. Just let him be the one that has to step on towards you. Now going into the 1v1. Joe down quite low on HP, but he won't mind too much, Tim, because that clock is down to about 10 seconds for Bullet to kill 3. He won't even find a single one. And a really, really cool round actually coming out from Daystar. The early rushing towards Fish meant that Catwalk was no longer safe to play on. I don't think that communication was made between Dplus Kia because they go aggressive on Catwalk, lose a player to the Blitz as a result, and it all just collapses from there. But what I love was then the flashes that just rained in towards Catwalk, flashed out the Azami entirely. There was nothing that the side of Dplus Kia could do, but they've really got to respect when they lose that Fish control, that playing around Catwalk and around site itself then becomes so much harder.
Yeah, really good round from Daystar there. I was really impressed. I've spoken at the beginning about those multiple pain points, getting in there and attacking from several sides, and they did it from second one. That was always the plan. IT, Fish, get themselves onto Catwalk. They had the Buck underneath, Pecan doing work to disrupt and dislodge the defenders. Brilliant stuff from Daystar, really showing a good command of that top floor site. They're going to move on this time to attack down into the basement. Dplus Kia deciding that they're not going to double down on any of these sites that they've lost. They're just going to keep their rotation going. And then the thing is, I was going to say we might see a shield ban later, but it's pointless at this. You know, okay, take the Blitz away. It doesn't matter. They'll bring the Monty. They'll bring the Blackbeard. You know, you've lost that opportunity by going in with the double hard breach. And at the minute, the other interesting thing here is the double hard breach isn't hurting them in the slightest. It's almost like Dplus Kia's bans have been wasted.
Yeah. It's starting to feel that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was looking at the stats yesterday for Daystar. Their most played operator is Twitch, and I was like, that's a really rogue, like, primary pick for a team, but just in the last round, it was in there getting them a lot of information early. This aggression coming out from his army. Nias looking to challenge them on entry in towards the building and does get some damage down, but no kill, unfortunately. Wasn't too far off finding Nias as he stepped across in towards storage either. And just to touch on this really quickly, Daystar have actually got the worst attacking win rate of any team at the tournament right now. Like, of those remaining, admittedly, there are one or two others that are below them, but they've already been knocked out, as you might imagine. Yet they've come out here with 2 really good attacks. They also had the lowest plant rate in the whole competition at 6%. It was atrocious. Yet they've already got a plant down, as we've seen throughout this game, but it's Levy getting one back onto Azuki. It's more the nature of things are turning around for Daystar, at least in this game. I've been really impressed by what I've seen so far, given it isn't even their map pick.
Solid start from Dplus here in this round, getting themselves the advantage in manpower at least. Also, by taking down the Striker, you take a lot of utility with them. For anybody unfamiliar with Striker, they get, of course, 2 secondary gadgets. No primary gadget like the exothermic charge or the black eye cameras, but they do get 2 of those secondaries, so they can bring along nades and flashes as an example. So a lot lost on the side of Daystar there by Striker going down, but they do find a response. Smitty is taken out again with said he was one of their key players the other day, Des. Really struggling to get himself into the game today. Just 1 kill in 3 rounds.
Absolutely. Well, not that it matters too much for the other side, though, Tim, because Daystar are absolutely flying through this one, squaring themselves up here for potentially a 3rd attacking round in a row. Do stand corrected, by the way, this is their map pick. Should have stressed that. Which probably shows Tim why they're looking pretty hot on it to start things off. I would be very, very surprised if Dplus Kia don't pull in attack timeout after this round, because they are crumbling, and I think it's pretty fair to say they need a little bit of help to try and get things back on course here. They're not the best on this map, admittedly. A 2-4 record over the last 6 months or so does show that it's one of the maps they do not really like going to, only when forced. And so far, Daystar are putting on one hell of a show. Now focused around cargo, starting to square themselves up here in the last 40 seconds for an execute.
Yeah, they need to get moving. They don't want to leave this too late. You've still got 3 smoke canisters in the pocket of Falls. However, Pecan's going to deal with those. Manages to find the kill. So all that denial, all that time wasting that Dplus Kia could have possibly played behind has just disappeared. And now Daystar just need to find themselves a little bit of space to put this diffuser down. 15 seconds left to go. And they're going to look to start getting aggressive. Flashes go out. Souffle manages to trade bullet as he picks up Seal. Pecan with the final kill, and Daystar close out another round 3-0. And what a start for the APAC team here on Nighthaven Labs.
Commanding is the only word I can really think of using. Okay, that's a lie. Fantastic, excellent, dominant. There are many other words that describe how those first 3 rounds have gone. It's not looking too pretty for Dplus Kia. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a attack timeout after this operator ban comes on through, because PJH just need to step in and have a word with the boys about how the hell they recover this half.
Yeah, big trouble at the minute. Interestingly, we've got the bans come in there. If you remember, Des, I said they might take a shield ban out because of the trouble that they've had with them. But I also said it's a waste of time, because instead of the Blitz, you're just going to see the Blackbeard being brought along. You're going to see the Monte. There are other options because they haven't committed to that shield banning.
They can control the kitchen. They do nothing, literally nothing. So like, don't play to not to lose, play to win. Just don't try to for back to the one side. Just play. Such as like the kitchen. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think I borrowed the game and did what he was saying there, Tim, but I heard him speaking about Kitchen needing to play around that part of the map, so whether or not that's going to Kitchen site or if he's trying to play that part of the map to waste a bit of time, we'll find out when we get back into it. But like I say, that was a very, very needed timeout, I think, because right now Dplus Kia need to stem the bleeding.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking, you know, we've spoken briefly about the map choices there as well. Daystar having chosen Nighthaven Labs, and they're going into Lair next. It's important when we look at Daystar on Lair previously. Recent record is 2 wins, 1 loss. 2 of those players have been at Six Invitational. 1 was lost to Furia, fair enough.
Fair, yeah.
But it was 7-5, Des. Daystar took Furia to 7-5 on Lair. The other time they played it was against another APAC import team, Elevate. So, very similar situation.
And did they smoke them?
They won 7-1.
Wow, they smoked them. Nice.
So, look.
Could be a 2-0 if this carries on.
Looking towards that second map and saying, you know, whose map choice is whose, I'm going to say it right now. Dplus Kia need to be coming in and getting a win here, or really stretching them as far as they can. What's going on at the minute is not good enough for them in a sense of looking towards Lair and thinking, well, it's okay because that's our map pick. Yes, it is a more popular map for Dplus Kia. They play more of it. Their recent results are 5-2 on Lair, so they're definitely capable there. But so are Daystar. That's what they've shown us, and I'm really impressed with this attack so far. I think it's been brilliant. 3-0. They've ticked every box. They've given no room whatsoever. I think Dplus Kia for me are a little bit off the pace. Like I say, those operator bans all feel a little bit redundant. It's they've taken away hard breach bans that haven't affected Daystar in the slightest. They've played around them brilliantly. They've then reactively banned the blitz. Generally for that round 4 ban, it's either a preemptive where it's already planned and you go in and you're going to take such an operator away, or it's reactive, and I feel like this one has been reactive to remove the blitz, but I don't think it's going to have the impact that they want it to. Azuki, he has an impact. Mitty taken down again, and his bad day goes even worse.
Bit of a needless swing, honestly. Like, you're not getting away with much there. They're taking out the bulletproof from below, so you can't challenge it anyway. And then you're swinging on towards a Hibana who's just holding that breach because now she can't push in against the bulletproof, was waiting for it to go before she wanted to step on through, and you've just given away an absolute freebie there from the side of Mitty. Looking a little bit... What's the opposite of composed, Tim?
Rattled.
Yeah, they're looking rattled. They just don't look very ready for the game overall, I think, overall. Like, they might have their, setups in mind, but the actual method of play is what's been really, really uncomfortable. It's why they've only got 5 kills across those first 3 rounds.
Foles is trying to play on the clash. They need to be aware, of course, that there is a Capitao there. Seal manages to pick up Nears. 5 versus 3. Daystar continue the onslaught that has been happening through these first 3 rounds, and they look good for it. This is the thing. This is Daystar coming in and winning rounds.
Ooh,
I'm sure areas to be critical of Dplus Kia and what they've done, but Daystar has just made their lives so difficult. They've completely surrounded them up on this top floor now. They've just got attacks coming in from everywhere. Levy stands tall on Aqua. Dplus Kia needs somebody to do this, and right now it's Levy with the shotgun.
Yeah, and it's Souffle pushing in. Hasn't really got any flashes that can make this easier for him, and Bullet's going to find Joe. That's looking a little bit better for them. If he'd lost that fight, it would have been absolutely calamitous, but there's 2 kills for Bullet. Massive. Souffle gets Levy, though, Tim. That's the one thing I really need to see them hold on to, because now you've got Falls under a little bit of pressure. They've got to be really respectful of what's coming in now from Daystar.
Yeah, Falls is kind of pinched in between the 2, but Bullet gets an important kill, because if Seal could have played onto Catwalk a little bit more, then Falls can't really turn either way, because he'd have had one either side of him, whereas now he can just front up towards Souffle, who's coming in from Aqua. That was much better from Dplus Kia, so it feels like what they did there, particularly through the second half of the round, is that they actually just slowed down Des. You said at the beginning, Mitty taking a peek, he didn't really need to, getting a little bit over aggressive. They sort of sat back and said, we'll just take the fights as they come to us. We're going to let Daystar play the round, and that worked a lot better for them.
It was really on Bullet, right? He got a 3k on that IT door just by standing on the other side of it and letting them swing him.
Yeah.
They're the ones who had to scan the entire room. All he had to do was see a pixel change colour, click his mouse, and players start dying. Bodies will hit the floor. So really, really good from Bullet, especially, who moves up to 5 kills in the game, the same amount of the rest of his entire team. Most critically, Tim, it's a round on the board. That is what they needed. Now we're going down to control of storage in round 5, which I imagine will play out somewhat similarly. We'll see a defense up on the top floor, players trying to waste time upstairs. It won't be as reinforced and as locked down as what you saw in the previous round, given it is a different site, but it will be largely the same process that Daystar needs to go through. Unless they just rush in with the glass. Glass? Fuse.
Yeah, like I said, that Blitzban, it's just going to attract different shields. As it is, they've gone with the Fuse shield, which wouldn't necessarily be your primary thought, as I mentioned, Blackbeard Monte, but Fuse brings a lot of additional utility with him. Get him in there, up on that top floor, chase these roamers away, and you're going to be seeing those pucks, explosive pucks flying into sight and taking out a lot of the utility that is there. They brought the Fuse along last time for this site as well, if I remember rightly, and it worked fantastically well. So Daystar, I think, are just going to be looking for more of the same this time.
I'd hope so, Tim. Yeah, I mean, get back to winning ways. What we had in those first 3 rounds was really, really impressive, and you have to expect that Dplus Kia are going to adapt throughout a game. It's one thing I've been watching very, very closely throughout the tournament is how teams adapt mid-game to what they've seen in that first quarter. I've often spoke about breaking the game down into quarters since we had the new banning system come in. You get 3 rounds, you get a ban, and you tend to see the same 3 sites played again. So you kind of get those 4 quarters per game, plus anything that happens in OT2. So, all onus now turns back onto the attacking side. They're the ones who've got to figure out a way through the changes that Dplus Kia have made, and a fuse to get IT opened up nice and easily is certainly one way of doing it, Tim.
Yeah, just getting everything cleared out there. It's going to be Bullet that's playing on Catwalk at the minute. We could see his outline crouched. There he is. He's going to be charged with trying to hold back this pressure from IT. Mitty manages to finally find one of those peaks. Pekanzua is taken down. So 5 versus 4, good opener for Dplus Kia, but they got the opening kill in round 3. It's the only other one they've had. They didn't go on to win the round, so this time they need to use that man advantage. And honestly, I think they took what happened in the last round and they learned from it, and that is just take the foot off the gas a little bit now, let Daystar play into them, and take the opportunities when they present themselves like that.
Shot from Mitty as well. Second man removed. But it kind of comes back to the sort of thing we've seen several teams getting wrong over the last few days, Tim. They've let Mitty run away with it. He's just been running around the map here causing absolute chaos. They haven't had eyes on him, and now they're sort of stuck trying to make this push happen on the top floor. Bearing in mind, the site is on the downstairs. Bullet, yet again, just waiting for them to push onto him. A nice, quick, easy swing. He gets a kill. They've at least got him somewhat squeezed in here, Tim, but no one actually able to get the kill.
And the thing is, it's like I said, Bullet's now playing this game where he's just going to stay there. He doesn't need to really peek. He doesn't need to look. He doesn't need to give them anything because it's just wasting so much time, him sitting here. He's got his kill. He used his FNAT to support it, and he could use it again here in exactly the same way as they try to approach him. You can see it's active. There you go. But
nice.
This time, Joe is ready for it. But the damage is done because it's taken 2.5 minutes. Dplus Kia finding far much more success with that time-wasting game. No idea that Foles is waiting for them. That's 1 left. And it's going to be Joe going up against 3. Manages to make it 2.
It's got to be an ace all the way as well, Tim. He has to know they're inside a site here, but of course, zero idea actually where they are. Can step in here and go for a plant maybe, but it's the amount of time that he's got that's really not going to help here. He's going to try and stick it, but immediately both players mobilise. They hear that diffuser going down, and Joe's got no choice but to give his life away to Mitty there, who gets a 3K in the round. A second in a row for Dplus Kia, who have woken up, Tim, and arrived into Night Haven Labs.
Yeah, they really have. And like I say, I think the answer largely has been, you know, in a way, stop trying so hard. You know, don't chase the kills, just let them come to you. And it's working perfectly. It's exactly what Bullet did. He didn't move his feet through the entire round, did not move his feet, and didn't need to. Wasted 2.5 minutes, got kills, great stuff. Dplus Kia then get 2 back, and they're going to be looking for a 3-3 split at the half.
All right. If they can get that, Tim, it will feel like a real recovery effort has gone completely right for them. After it looked like we might be seeing like a 4 or a 5-0 start to this game from Daystar, they have recovered. And Tim, I mentioned it during the timeout. We heard him talking about Kitchen a little bit. I didn't quite expect we'd actually go to the site itself, but that's exactly where we're headed here. And immediately Daystar's lineup just springs into action. The Ram on site, the Sen's coming along. It looks like, Tim, they've got all the right tools here for an execute onto the site. But first, it's going to mean they need to get top floor control.
Yeah, there's 2 areas in particular that are key here. You've got top floor control, and then you've got that kitchen area that I always speak about. So inside of kitchen, you've got a gap between the kind of bench with the partition in the middle and the window. Teams will almost always, when defending, play somebody in that kitchen area, and there's a very good reason for it. Thank you very much. It's just to the right of your screen there. So they will often play somebody in that area because there is no verticality that will get to that point. So what's the answer to it? The answer is to play a kitchen window. We often see that overlooked by teams, and what it does is it allows a clash, it allows an Azami, it allows one of these difficult operators to stay comfortable in that position, and then it becomes 20 seconds left to go and you still don't have a clear path through to a plant spot in kitchen. So it's something that Daystar need to pay attention to. As it is at the minute, Dplus Kia don't have anybody there, but as I say that, Levy is playing kind of in towards that area that I'm talking about now.
Yeah, but they've got to go through it first, Tim. Here we go on the starting up in towards connector itself. I know there's going to be stiff competition on the way through, though, that they can't just march on in there and take control of it and start getting the site itself opened up. But I'll be watching this time, because last time we came down, like you say, to about 25, 30 seconds left when they finally got top floor control, it was too late at that point. Here they've got to worry about top floor again and then look towards the downstairs, where we now have every single player on the side of Dplus Kia. They've all fallen back, all got themselves cozy, but they're not all sat on site. They are holding the rooms around to it. So it's like having a bunch of hurdles to jump over. Top floor hurdle, cleared. Now we've got to worry about the perimeter rooms, work in progress, and then the site itself. But with things like the Senzon side, you can kind of shortcut that a little bit. You can roll some of those light screens through and make a hit happen. Azuki with those in hand now. He's rolled out a couple, actually, by the looks of it, just to try and get them into a spot to be able to try and pick somebody up. But no one to be found quite yet.
No, given the positioning of that one, it suggests that they're maybe going to try and work their way down lobby stairs, because it just blocks off the view from the corridor, so it kind of protects the flank a little bit, because nobody's going to want to be so aggressive. Just turns away at the wrong time, but to the right place. Manages to get a double there, the Warden, with Azuki being downed and finished off by Mitty. 4 versus 3, and that attempt to jump on into sight to get aggressive falls apart for Daystar as the kills keep rolling for Dplus Kia. Mitty with another traded out by Seal. 40 seconds left to go.
Problem is the clash here, really. It's been feeding that information back and forth the whole time, Tim. As much as they might have found a couple of kills and got us to a 2 versus 3, this now feels really hard to accomplish with only 30 seconds on the clock. They did all the hard yards, but Dplus Kia just had crossfires ready at every opportunity and have punished them for it.
Yeah, it's gone really well. You've got Joe on super low health. Seal's trying to work something from up above, but if you remember that position I spoke about at the beginning of things, Levy, he's in there, and there is going to be no moving him whatsoever. He's the backline. He's the redundancy here for Dplus Kia. So even if it kind of goes wrong, he's in the position to mop things up, and they've got to deal with that. The drop comes in through the hatch. Here's it, no problem. There's your redundancy. Dealt with. Bullet on the final kill. Dplus Kia of serious, and maybe they just don't like the first game of the day, as they've woken up in the last 3 rounds.
I don't think they like the first 3 rounds in particular, Tim. Really good recovery effort from them, and yeah, that's kind of how I expected all the rounds in that half to go, truthfully. I really thought Dplus Kia would come out swinging today. Fair play to Daystar. They started out strong. They did get battered in those final 3, but now they get to move on to the defense of their own map pick, and we'll see what they can cook up. First ban away is going to be the Monty, our most banned operator at the tournament so far, and I expect the Kaid will follow on the other side here alongside the Bandit.
Yeah, I would have thought so. They'll double down on that electricity, and we'll see where Daystar go with theirs. And as they come through, we get Grim and Kaid. So yes, as expected on the defence, and then basically our 2 most popular bans on the attack.
Absolutely, yeah. Grim has really grown in ban rate throughout the competition too. Like, started out with a couple of bans on day 1. I think it's only increased as time has gone by. I think I mentioned the other day that he's our 2nd highest attacking win rate percentage, at least for attackers. A lot of defenders are above him, I think it's fair to say, as you've probably come to expect by now. But he has been up there alongside Dockerby for one of the most successful attackers that you can pick in the game. So no shock, it's been taken away. Kicking things off then is going to be this top floor. Bullet jumping across on towards the Capitao, who we spoke to the absolute death about throughout this competition so far. But, Tim, I want to talk about the Thorn for a second, because we spoke about this quite a lot early on. Of course, had some recent changes come on through that make her gadget more effective now. Its arm time is quicker, its detonation time is quicker. It doesn't quite do as much damage as it still caught us off guard yesterday. We were like, oh, that looks painful. 10 damage. And that was on towards the Blackbeard. But you do also now get that effect that lingers after you've been hit by one of those, slows you down for a while. So there is a lot more that it brings in terms of utility now rather than outright lethality, but that is certainly not a bad thing.
We did see a Thorn die to their own Razor Blade.
We did see that, yes.
Which is a little bit unusual.
Which feels very, very difficult, but I also understand how...
If you're moving quickly through an area and it's been detonated, then
because of the detonation time being so quick, it is very, very plausible, yes.
Very easily done. So here we go then. Daystar move on to the defence. They're going to be up on the top floor. We saw them have a fantastic attack here back in round 2. Is it something that Dplus Kia are going to take on board and maybe replicate themselves? Certainly looks like it could be, because we've got Nias already looking towards that catwalk window, whilst on the other side, oh, look at this, he's going in super aggressively on the Deimos. On the other side, we do have that kind of textbook work going on around Connector as well. I think
they're just going to swing.
There you go.
I mean, he still wins. At least they lined up for the 2 versus 1, though. And if he had hit that shot there, Seal, it would have been wonderful, because that default cam, as you saw, is still up. They knew that he was there, just couldn't quite land the shots.
That might lead to a situation where Daystar feel like they've dealt with the catwalk push. The problem that they've got is Bullet is working his way in through warehouse door. Here he is. And if he starts moving up those stairs, he could well give them a little bit of a surprise here. What he needs to do, really, I think, is just wait for his team members to catch up. They need more pressure through IT. They need more pressure through Connector. As it is, he's gone in. He's made that move, so they are aware of his position now. And that might just take away a little bit of his edge, Des.
Yeah, managed to burn through all the ADSs with the smokes as well, but now really needs to get the fire coming if they wanted to go so before those ADSs can recharge. And no, he's let it come back onto him. They've lost it, but it was bait all along. Full stepping out and getting rid of Azuki. It might not have been the cleanest way of getting Catwalk cleared out to him, but they've got the kills they need.
Yeah, and that allows Bullet now to move up onto Catwalk and to start pushing forward more aggressively to site. Souffle is in a position to hold things back for the time being. He's pretty much the linchpin of this defense right now, because as soon as they've got him cleared out, then there are big problems for Daystar inside of site. He continues trying to take that fight because he doesn't really have a choice. He's got intel coming in from Seal that's feeding him that. He's on the cams at the minute.
Can't get away with this.
Let him do it. He's just strafed out and picked up one. Can he find a second? Falls. He manages to take down Pecan. Still advantage Dplus Kia, but a big play from Souffle as he gets himself another 2v2.
Levy really can't be letting him get away with this, Tim. Souffle's still alive and standing here. Everyone's super low HP, but Mitty carries on his reign of terror. Closes out the round with 2. But I want to come back to that. Souffle should never be able to get that cross. Levy no doubt saying, don't worry, I've got IT held, he can't swing you. You start running down Catwalk, and then what happens? You get swung by Souffle. You'd be screaming at him for that. The worst part is he's on the Nomad. He's got air jabs, Tim.
Yep.
You should be able to have the moves on the door to stop that kind of push happening, but Souffle's got away with it there, taking the risk, and it did pay off. However, the round doesn't go their way. That is now 4 in a row for Dplus Kia, and they are in the lead for the first time this game.
It's interesting that you mentioned the air jabs, because I believe one had been played into that area earlier in the round, and I'm not sure if it was purposeful or not, but I think Souffle had triggered it. I heard the sound go off, and I think it was Souffle who triggered it, so he knew that his path into that area was clear of air jabs, so it was really well played from him. But unfortunately for Daystar, it wasn't enough to get things over the line. It leaves Dplus Kia 4-3 on the scoreboard now. And we're going to move on. Daystar looking to defend the basement this time. The big question always being, how much are they going to play into the roam? Where are they going to set up? Once we get into the round, we will have a look at that. We'll break that down exactly what the sort of split is looking like, how many are on site, how many are around the map. Dplus Kia bringing along the Blackbeard, so shouldn't have too much of a problem in chasing down any roamers.
There were 2 gunfights you saw on the replays there where Daystar really should have had a Dplus Kia player dead to rights. You know, early on it was the Deimos out in towards Garage that should have been dead, and then we saw that swing coming in from Fish where they got the kill onto the player in other site. Those are angles that were being held or where player locations were known by the side of Daystar, but they still lose the gunfights. And as painful as it is to say, if you want to be competing for a title at SI or even to make it to main stage, those are the kind of like 100% easy kills that you cannot afford to be missing. And I'm not saying that's strictly costing the round there, Tim, but it was a 2v1 at the end to the side of Dplus Kia. They probably could have got away with it if they'd managed to find those kills. Daystar, Souffle at least making sure that mistake isn't repeated. An easy kill on towards Nia is taking no damage himself.
Yeah, taking the IQ out is big as well. That's going to leave those Valkyrie black eye cameras a little bit more difficult to find. Not impossible, but it might just mean that 1 or 2 of them survive. The Deimos of Levy is going to make his way on him. Look to be tracking out and trying to do some work from above. They have at least got a bit of space on the top floor. If you look across the bottom left of your screen, you'll see the positioning of Daystar is actually quite advanced here. They've got themselves across that mid-floor. So they're certainly not giving any of this map up very easily, Des.
No, you do have to play it here and waste time for Dplus Kia. It's something I spoke about all week, but when a team is a little bit slow and takes their time to get moving, best thing you can do is get out in the map and disrupt them early so they haven't got a chance to put this well-crafted plan together. It always makes them have to problem-solve in real time as well. If they lose one of their key players on the push on forward like they've done here, you know, Valkyrie now is a big threat to you, as you've already mentioned, Tim. You've now got to factor that into towards your plans. So that takes another 10-15 seconds of discussing and figuring out, okay, back on drones, where are we going next? What have we got to do here to avoid this problem created before us? The more Daystar can get up in front of their face and shut them down, the better they'll be. And Fury were really effective at this yesterday. However, 2 collapse on the side of Daystar as Falls and Levy come together to get rid of Joe and Souffle. Suddenly, the round is spun on its head. Yeah, there's not loads of time to work with, but they've got the control they need now up on this first floor, and 45 seconds with which to get this done.
And importantly, they've got the kill onto the smoke, which is your big player for denial there, for wasting out that time at the end of the round. But Seal has managed to just get onto the backside of them. Pecan with one onto Bullet as well. 3 versus 2. Falls is just kind of full sending this into sight with the Blackbeard, looking to get aggressive, see if he can find some kills. He does flush Azuki into the path of Mitty. So that leaves us now in a 2v2. Mitty had a slow start to the match. It's the only way to say it, but he really has come out with a little bit more pace in this second half. Pecan manages to find the headshot onto Falls. Blackbeard down. It's all up to Mitty. 5 seconds. And he doesn't win this one. Seal picks it up. And Daystar managed to get themselves a successful defense.
I was just about to wax a little bit lyrical about Mitty, how he was 1-4 to start and has really turned things around, as you say, Tim. But can't quite win out the 1v1, I'm afraid. And that keeps things all even, 4 apiece now. This is the reawakening of Daystar, who, it's worth stressing, have still got their attack timeout. Dplus Kia win this next round. Even if they don't, actually, you may still see attack timeout come on through from Harambe, who used to play for these guys. It's worth stressing. I mentioned earlier on that he's my favourite coach, Jim. It's because of that attack timeout the other day. We understood very few words of what he said, except for, guys, all right, be cool, and the F word. A lot of the F word. But it was a very, very fun timeout.
It's all it took.
He looks like a really cool guy. It's the hat.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you one day.
We'll get you a beanie, mate. Let's get you a beanie. We'll hide the hair, or lack of.
I get headaches when I wear hats.
Even a beanie, because they're really soft.
Yeah, anything.
Seriously. I can understand like a cap, because they can be quite tight in your head, but
I think
a
it's
beanie?
more because of like heat, because obviously your head gives a lot.
Is that why you shaved? Did all your hair just like boil
I was
off?
just getting headaches. No, it's a lot of heat pours out of your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, but not that much, Tim.
Leaves you, no, but
you're not a geothermal vent now.
No,
Come
what
on.
I'm saying is when I've got it, I think it just keeps it all in there, and the brain gets a bit cooked, so it's not happy. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not the expert. I just I wear hats for more than about an hour. I get a headache.
You're the only person ever who said I get a headache from wearing a beanie.
I do.
They're the softest thing. Get a thin one or something.
Don't matter.
Get a slouchy. Go back to the early 2000s, Tim.
Headsets do the same thing for me.
Yeah, but because they're tight in your head, though, so I understand that. But a beanie's like not. It's really soft and...
I think it's more my ears being covered, but anyway.
Oh, now you're just changing excuses.
Well, no, because the ears are... In my mind, the ears are kind of like the vents, aren't they? They're like a hole in your head, so that's where the heat comes
Tim,
from.
shut up.
So if you block that up, the heat can't get out.
Job. Just cast the game.
That's where I see it.
Shut up, Tim.
Oh, a little insight into the workings of my mind. 4-4 we are then, 50 seconds into the round, attacking onto top floor. Dplus Kia, what are you doing is the big question. They are currently heading towards Connector. They don't have any pressure anywhere else at the moment. Last time around, they sent the Deimos. It was Nias on the Deimos that went in through the catwalk window, got an opening kill. Bullet moved in towards warehouse side. At the moment...
Nom. 3 gadgets gone, by the way.
Yeah, there's just a lot more kind of presence over towards that Connector side.
Yeah, well, Nias, like I say, has been in there doing good work. But I think they've both finally realised that the bulletproof camera has been the main issue for them. The one that's been sat inside of IT every single round we have played it has largely gone ignored, except for the one round when the Deimos got in underneath and removed it. I believe here it got hacked away nice and early on, was then shot out by, of course, Daystar. Don't want to leave it there when it's been stolen away from you. But it's good that they've adapted here, brought on the Brava to help deal with that.
So Bullet at the moment is kind of working around the periphery on that warehouse side. He is going to be a nuisance later in the round, one to just keep in the back of your mind, while Nias here has tried to get into IT. Going to just be slowed up a little bit by that Razor Bloom. Absolute freebie for 2 as he walks in. They must have known he was pushing. He triggered the Razor Bloom. They've not reacted, and they've been punished heavily.
What did I say about that bulletproof, Tim? They didn't see him marching on up. They've had a player coming up at the same time on catwalk to distract, and he's walked in and got himself 2. They're on for a flawless round here, Tim. And Bullet closes it out. That is an excellent attack and something we've been waiting to see from both of these teams, but Dplus Kia were the first to get there.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Dplus Kia there, like you say. Just a complete understanding. It was a little bit of a slow start to the round, but that's absolutely fine. They were just gathering that intel. They were piecing together exactly what was where and they've gone in and taken full advantage of it. I love it, and I love the little bit of aggression from Nears to get it started as well. Sometimes you've just got to take that risk. I'm going to have a little look in here and see what I get, and it's 2. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a discussion within the Daystar team of, I'm watching Connector here. You've got to be watching IT Door. And the cover just wasn't there for him.
Harambe in for the timeout then for the side of Daystar. Tim, that hat's even got a little Rainbow Six logo on it. You get one of them.
I've got one. I've got, not that exact one, but
he's even wearing glasses under a headset, and you moan about that all the time.
I've been wearing my glasses recently because my eyes are getting worse because I'm old. But I've got 2 SI beanies, and I love both of them, and I do wear them. I have my Boston 25 one with me here in Paris in case it got a bit chilly. I just can't wear them for long, Des, is the thing. Unless I roll them up above my ears, in which case it does help, because then the vents are clear to let the heat
but you're
out.
like an absolute knob.
I'm interested now in whether that's a real thing. Somebody could probably tell me. Whether your ears kind of act as vents for heat.
Well-known vents. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
It's just how it seems to me when I look at my head. That's how it seems.
Honestly, Tim, it's almost like they have another function like to help you hear things.
Well, hot air pours out of your mouth, doesn't it? So that's the same thing.
What?
It's just a lot of hot air, isn't it? You don't know that phrase?
Yes, I've heard the phrase, Tim.
There you go.
It's a bit too close to home for the conversation we're having, though, about air vents and hot air and whatever else. Well, I hope what came out of Harambe's mouth was a bit more than hot air, Tim, because they're going to have to turn this round one way or another. It is their map pick, Daystar, let's not forget. Yet they find themselves on the back foot against a rising tide of Dplus Kia, who have won 5 of the last 6 rounds. Let's see if they can turn things around here. We're going to try that top floor again and hopefully not let Nears march into IT and mow you down.
Yeah, look, I think they're going to struggle with this site. You know, maybe they can get it done, but I look at the last... I'd have been going somewhere else, personally, because Dplus Kia have put together 2 really good attacks here. So first time, they send the Deimos, it's Nears again, they send the Deimos up warehouse stairs, onto Catwalk, he gets a kill. Yeah, he gets traded, but it just clears the path for Bullet to then be able to push in there later in the round, and it goes really well for Dplus Kia. The last attack that we just saw, instead, there's a little bit of pressure elsewhere. Nears walks into IT and gets a double kill, and that allows Bullet up onto Catwalk, and the round falls apart from there. So, Dplus Kia, they've had multiple really strong attacks here on this top floor. So, for me, if I'm Daystar, I'm thinking, you know what, just get me away from there. Let's worry about that later on in this map. You know, for now, let's try and just get this one sorted out. Oh, we've got some moves! We've got some fancy moves from Nears on the Twitch. How about that? Gives it a little boost, hits him with the razzle dazzle, and takes out the bulletproof cam.
Is that the official name for that, Tim? The razzle dazzle?
That's the razzle dazzle. He's giving the footwork, he's giving the eyes, he's giving the movement.
But it is now the second round in a row. Oh!
Nears!
That's some of my favourite moments when we both go, oh, together. It's amazing. But it's the second round now where you've seen Dplus Kia have a good answer to that bulletproof cam. They hacked it out last time. Here, they said, oh, forget hacking it. We'll get in there and destroy it. And then I've done the same to the Clash. Wonderful start for Dplus Kia.
I think they're just waiting for the push to come from Azuki now. He's going to actually, I think, smart choice. Get yourself back into sight. There's 3 guns facing your way in IT. So for the time being, just hold yourself back. You're just trying to burn out time now. You certainly don't want to give your life away. Levy could take that advice as well. Gets a little bit aggressive in through that catwalk door. Could have been swung by Azuki, but wasn't. Joe manages to pick up Mitty. But this is going to be a little bit of a defining moment within the round, I think. Dplus Kia just need to chill out for a minute. Let this wall get opened up and let things develop.
They do, but it feels like it's a bit of a stem the bleeding moment for both sides in a way. Dplus Kia starting out so strong, and like that, they lose 2, Tim. A round of Rainbow Six Siege can change in a millisecond, and here it's changed in about, I'd say 300 milliseconds. 2 quick kills, and now Daystar are in full command of the round. Levy and Falls really got to work some magic. Hit the deck, get back on your back, get on your belly like a snake, and just sit and wait. Bait him in, draw him in. Souffle going down like that, Tim. That's 2 kills back.
That's effectively now a 2v2, and they know where one of the 2 is. This is a dangerous spot now as the kill comes in from Levy. It's 2v1. Souffle is down, but so is Falls, actually. So we find ourselves now in a 1v1. The swing comes across. He's going to get his man. And Daystar managed to get themselves leveled up again. 5-5.
I was so worried we were about to see another incredible 2vx bottle there by the side that had the man advantage. The number of times this week, Tim, that we've seen 5v3s, even 5v2s or 4v2s, you name it, just get spun on its head has been absolutely ridiculous. It's definitely been one of our most clutch events for that. Does it always make for convincing siege when the team keeps on losing those man advantages? No, but it definitely makes for entertainment. And with that Daystar hold on, we're guaranteed to see all 12 rounds of Nighthaven Labs in regulation. Could even yet see OT.
Who knows where this one is going? The only place we know that it's going is down to command and servers, because that is going to be our next defensive site for Daystar. Again, I'll be asking the same question. This is a beautiful opening kill from Niz. Again, I'm going to be asking the same questions of, how much of a commitment is made to that top floor. Great final swing from Pecan as well to pick that up. Not easy to win that one out.
I've missed those slow-mos. We had a great one the other day. They really do draw sound effects out of us, Tim.
They do.
They really do.
Right, here we go then. What's it looking like up on the top floor? We've got Seal and Azuki joining Joe up there at the minute, so that's 3. Whether that changes as we get a little bit deeper into this round, we will see. It may still be kind of just setting things up. But I think as a benchmark, we can say 3 roamers on the top floor for Dplus Kia to deal with.
Absolutely. Again, it is going to demand all 12s. This won't be the last round that we see on this map. Still at least 2 to play. And very dug in, I'd say, on the side of Daystar, especially towards the Mute and the Mozzie. It's very rare that you see these two as a pairing these days. You'll normally see one or the other, because there are just so many strong operators in the game. I mean, look, you got Thorn, we can never mind, Tim, they're just going straight in.
Forget
Mitty
it.
and Nia's getting 2. They're looking for a 3rd already. This could be over before it's even started, Tim. They make it a 3, and yet again, Mitty continues his reign of terror. They have just destroyed the other side here. Daystar, it's only Pecan left.
Yeah, opportunity spotting at its finest there from Dplus Kia. Just seeing that window of a chance to get in there, get aggressive. They do so. Pecan finds one. At least stops it being a flawless, but can do no more, as that now leaves us 6-5 on the scoreboard. Brilliant stuff from Dplus Kia. They seem to go from strength to strength at the minute.
Barely even around that, was it?
Yep.
It was over in about 60 seconds flat. Very impressive from Dplus Kia. Daystar not quite playing the way that I'm sure Harambe wanted them to off the back of a couple of timeout rounds. They're going to try and stage their final defense down into the basement assembly and tank to close out regulation and potentially the map. But it does mean Dplus Kia are going to have to work their way through the majority of the map. Big question there is, do Daystar want to play out on the roam? It's kind of a given that you have to on this site. Once again going back in towards the Mozzie, but dropping away on the Mute and instead trying to slow things down a little bit with the Ella coming out from Pecan.
Map 2, when we get there, not necessarily after this round, but when we get there, will be Leia, as chosen by Dplus Kia. I did speak earlier, Daystar are no slouchers on there. They did lose to Furia the other day, but it was 7-5, which, is always an accomplishment in itself against a roster like Furia. And they were able to beat Elevate 7-1 there. So, Daystar, every possibility that they come back, and take things a little bit further than Leia. But if Dplus Kia can take their map away from them here on Nighthaven Labs, it puts them one big step forward towards surviving in this lower bracket.
I'm looking at that lineup. Mitty, by the way, I've got a stress 12-8. What a clawback from me in 1 and 4. Very well played. But I'm looking at this lineup, especially those final 3 operators in the side of Dplus Kia. That just screams, you are not safe anywhere. If the Blitz ain't rushing you down, you're getting flashed out by Candelas. If you feel that you're safe from even that, well, there's fire to force you to move as well. And Lion Scans, it's going to be a rushing towards sites. If they're not even here, and with all this utility, this should be theirs for the taking.
Yeah, and I think at this point, no idea. Absolutely no idea. Daystar, you can be forgiven because he's just come running straight in there and got aggressive. Next kill comes in. Levy putting the plant down. This almost certainly looks like it will be going to Dplus Kia. They've said enough is enough on Nighthaven Labs. We're coming for the win and we want to get this map done. They don't want any extras, and it's currently 5 versus 3. The post plant is in position.
They've been enjoying that French cheese, Tim. 2 rounds in a row here. They've absolutely cheesed the face off the side of Daystar. They're into a 2v3, but this feels unwinnable. You're against the Shield. You've got the Capital. You still got the Ying on side as well. It is not looking pretty, but a wonderful execute coming out from Dplus Kia. As we say, completely catching them by surprise. Falls down to low HP, but hits the flash, and this one is pretty much done. Souffle with it all to recover by himself. He won't even get the chance. Dplus Kia with a great recovery after being down 0-3. take away Daystar's map pick.
Great judgment and movement from Foles on the blitz there. You could see his feet getting peppered, and he was just trying to close that distance to be able to use the gadget. Did it brilliantly well, and Dplus Kia, a great last couple of, I think the entire last couple of rounds has probably been about 2.5 minutes of gameplay. They've just gone rushing straight in, taken their opportunities, and that leaves Daystar a little bit stunned going into map 2.
It does. Going to have to recover a little bit here, Tim. As you sort of said earlier on Lair, this is the map we're going into. They're not slouches on
No,
Lair.
they can play.
They can play it, but can they play it against a team that have picked it as their own map pick? That is what remains to be seen.
Yeah, it really does. That's going to be the question that remains to be answered. Just seeing the team just having a little bit of a debrief straight away. The thing is, they've got to just get this out of their heads. Labs is done. You got to just move on.
Very common to see teams disappear out towards the lobby to do this as well, but clearly saying, well, you know what? They probably can't understand us over speaking Mandarin, so we'll crack on here in front of the booth and figure this out so we've got more time to actually talk, because they do really need to get things course corrected. Otherwise, this will be a very, very quick series, Tim.
Yeah, it will be, and it certainly it could be really quick if Dplus Kia carry on like they did there. I don't think they will. The foot will come off the gas a little bit, and they'll know that they need to get themselves established on Lair. But yeah, phenomenal stuff. Like you say, Mitty was 1-4 at a point, so in those final 8 rounds, he's got himself 8 kills, 11 kills. Great stuff from him to turn that around and bring it back and be the player that Dplus Kia need him to be. Bullet as well up there at the top. Shout out to Souffle. He had some big moments. We saw a couple of big swings from him where he really did almost turn around, but it just didn't equate onto scores going up onto the board.
The big challenge that both teams are facing, I think, coming into this series too, one stat I didn't speak about was collectively they've got the lowest multi-kills as individual teams out of anyone in the competition, even those eliminated.
Yep.
Both teams have really lacked that star power historically. And while you've seen Mitty show a little bit of it, there was still only really the 1-3K from him in the game. So someone has got to be that superstar going into map 2 for the side of Daystar. Otherwise, they will be having a nice early exit here at Six Invitational. We'll take a quick exit for now and come back in just a minute after a short break. See you then.
Available now.
I've got a bone to pick with you first and foremost.
You always do, Des.
I've done my research. They are not vents. They are localized radiators.
Thank you. So what
in
we
the
are
same way my hands are.
So what you're saying, Des, is by covering them up, they could heat up my head, which causes the headaches. That's what you're saying. That's what I heard.
In the same way, covering up your hands can give you a headache because it raises your body temperature.
Well, no, but it's localised to my head, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
It's localised so my brain's getting hot. That's what I'm saying.
They are not vents. You described them as heat vents.
I've seen cartoons. I've seen cartoons where they are. Where, like, the
It's an
steam
animation.
comes out.
It's a cartoon. It's not real.
All I'm saying is my lived experience is if my ears are covered, my head gets hot and I get a headache. Explain it however you will. Maybe
your ears are covered now, Tim. Is it getting hot?
Maybe
are you overheating? Have you got a headache, Tim?
Maybe I'm a medical marvel. Thanks for asking, Des. Actually, yes, I am a little bit.
That's because you're old.
And I've not slept.
And you've not slept. But no, it's the ears' fault, Tim.
I guarantee.
Well, we're going into game. Let's get back into what we're actually here for, shall we? Lair coming up. It was a 7-5 on Nighthaven Labs to Dplus Kia. Despite Daystar starting out 3-0 on their attack and looking commanding, Dplus Kia did fight their way back in, and with it being there, Matt picked him. This might mean this series now goes the way that we all anticipated, which was a 2-0 to Dplus Kia.
It feels like you've kind of, if you're Dplus Kia, I think it feels like you've hit the downhill a little bit. The social prediction, you know, is really reflecting that as well. Get them onto Lair, get them onto their map pick, given the confidence that they played with. Mitty really hitting his stride towards the second half of that game. Yeah, I think things are looking good for them. Dplus Kia start on the attack as well, so they can just kind of continue rolling.
Humans rely primarily on sweating,
Give it a rest.
evaporative cooling, and increasing blood flow to the entire skin surface, not just the ears.
I love how much you hate to be wrong. That's the best bit.
Fun fact, it's because they have no insulating fat, which is why when it gets cold, it's the first place that you feel cold.
Yep.
And it also makes your ears most susceptible to frostbite. You know how you avoid getting frostbite on your ears, Tim?
Do you cover them up?
Yeah, you do.
But
Do
then
you know what you wear?
But then I get a headache.
Do you know what you wear, Tim?
Then I get a headache.
Do you know what you wear?
I'm not
Tim,
talking about frostbite.
Do you want
At what point
do you want a headache or frostbite?
Oh, you're such
Headache or frostbite?
You're such a baby.
Tell me though, which one would you want? Headache or frostbite?
Frostbite.
Thank you. You're such an idiot.
I can be just as stubborn as you, Des.
Oh, I love it so much. All right, we're going to go to Master and Office for our first sight. The bands mirroring exactly what we saw back on the last map, at least for one of the halves. Electro Bros taken away, and then two of our strongest attackers also taken off the board. Kicking things off on the top floor then, Tim, it's going to be the attacking side for Dplus Kia and Daystar on the defense.
Yeah, same bands as we saw last time around to kick things off, so nothing has changed drastically there. What are we going to need to see from Daystar? Well, they're on the defense, it's Lair, it's top floor, so there's a few key areas here. First thing they need to do is recognise where the attack is coming from Dplus Kia, because there are multiple options, and I would hope Dplus Kia will push at least two of those different sides. One area they need to keep a hold of here, or at least make difficult for Dplus Kia to come in and take control of, is Ops. We can see Souffle is over there on the Jaeger at the minute. He's just put in a couple of bits of utility. They've reinforced the wall through, but we're going to see, I would say, Mitty, we've seen him do it previously. We've seen Dplus Kia already on there. Mitty on the ace will come into Ops. He'll try to breach that wall, and he's going to give them control of mezzanine pretty quickly. So somebody needs to be tasked with holding on to that area and keeping them out of there. Also, you're going to have mask wall. That's probably going to be opened up, given that the Electro Bros have been taken away by Dplus Kia. It's going to give them an easy option, thank you very much, to get that breach, which we can see is already happening straight away. Selma charge goes on there, nice and easy. It does get taken away though, so a little bit of a question as to whether they go back to it or not. There is people lining up to take Ops, so Daystar, they need to be recognising this now. There is nobody there to challenge for Ops. This is a concern for me. They're letting Dplus Kia in and to get established. Look how easy that's just been. They've just lost the utility there. Too easy.
And a C4 over the top to try and collect their man, and they're not going to get away with anything, I'm afraid. Bit of a waste of a C4 overall, because they've now lost Ops. We've also seen Mask opening up, as we've already remarked on once or twice. Which should mean this gets that little bit easier. Also trying to apply pressure here on towards Rockets there. There isn't a player playing there. But so far, Daystar have just been moved around like warts, and they're being pushed to wherever the hell Dplus Kia want them to go.
Bullets on the Deimos as well. You just saw him there, just on the left of your screen as that drone's going through. This drone is being done by Bullet because he wants to go underneath, and he wants to work his way up mezzanine. I thought he might go and try and deal with Desk, but instead he's just getting aggressive because he's seen an opportunity. And again, it's something Dplus Kia have done really, really well so far, is to opportunity spot and to take aggression. Brilliant from Bullet, absolutely phenomenal. Double kill, gets them rolling now. 5 versus 2. This is a round going to Dplus Kia almost certainly.
Yeah, great movement by Bullet as well. Just kept on pushing, knowing that he could get flanked by Azuki, who was a little bit asleep at the wheel, and let him get away with that one. But look at this, 70 seconds to play with, Tim. They've got gadgets for days. They've still got these traps coming out from the Deimos. this is Dplus Kia's round for sure.
If you remember, I said I wanted Bullet to deal with that position behind the desk, and he's done exactly that. He's gone. Joe manages to get the kill, but look at how low health he is. He's got no toxic babes left anymore. Simple as that. Seal gets dealt with from below as well. Bullet has had a great round there on the Deimos. So his initial plan was go in and deal with that desk position by using the verticality and the track onto the smoke. But he sees an opportunity. He knows they're not ready for the push-up rocket stairs, so he goes and gets his kill. He comes back down and gets the player who was supposed to be downstairs to stop him getting the verticals onto desk. Just really well read in that situation from Bullet. The team do the rest of the work elsewhere, get everything else prepped. Brilliant stuff. Dplus Kia 1-0.
Yeah, certainly zero complaints there about Bullets playing the round. Absolutely excellent. Going to go down to the bottom floor though. Daystar taking us into the basement. So Dplus Kia no doubt going to have a bit more work to do. Probably a full map clear on the go if Daystar choose to play it out on the bottom with a thing like with an operator like the Valkyrie on side. It screams to me that they are not going to be sat inside of sight. Nia's already at least hovering over the IQ here, just by default. Good bit of respect to show onto the other side. But everything else on the side of Daystar, Tim, I look at and say they're really looking to try and keep themselves locked in. There's a nice picture from yesterday.
That's wildcard.
That was Wildcard's win yesterday indeed. It was quite an emotional moment for Baby Shark because as he went on to say on social media, he's getting to play in front of his friends and family on the biggest stage there is to play. You know, a year like, bless him. I remember in the video of Hoju Rookie of the Year, everyone was actually saying Stompin', a bunch of the Brazilians were saying Boxera, and Baby Shark, he was like, I would like to say myself, but I'm not going to because that's quite vain, so I'll say Stompin'. But I do think he's been very much underrated as this rookie that's come in. And he's been meandering around in Tier 2 for a while, but to then come into Tier 1, get picked up, flown, and move your whole life to a different part of the world and play the way that he has. I'm absolutely loving seeing it. It's been amazing. Yep. And his whole team was so happy that he gets that moment in front of his family and friends. It's a wonderful thing for him.
Great pickup from Seal there to kick things off. That's Levy taken out, and it's the Raura as well. So usually if you've got the Raura, it is going to be a big part of that execute. There is going to be a specific plan about where those panels will be deployed, you know, where they will hold down in the map to prevent the pushers coming through. So that's now something that Dplus Kia need to kind of think their way around. They lose Bullet as well. Big round from Seal. That's going to be a double for him. 5 versus 3, and the basement hold is looking a little bit better for Daystar.
It is. Got a lot of work still to do here. Dplus Kia, if they want to try and recover this round. It's a 3 versus 5, but as we've already seen back on the previous map, these rounds are losable. So, need to ensure they're playing as a team. They've got all 3 C4s still available to deny away players like Foles especially. We saw some really cute play out of Fury yesterday, making use of the C4 on the stairs down to the northwest to keep the shield at bay as a flash comes on through. Souffle hitting the deck there for a second, and here we go. The march on forward from Foles begins. Will he find his man?
Just going to try to work around the extremities of that Toxic Babe canister. Doesn't matter as Joe manages to get one, but here come Dplus Kia. Mitty and Nia's one apiece. Yeah. Mitty in a second, and this is the problem. You just can't legislate for a player like Mitty. We now find ourselves 2 versus 2, and there's an age on the clock. There's still a minute 15 left to go. They can take their time here. They've got Roteros. They've got Buck for the verticality in a lot of ways. Dplus Kia still have what they need to turn this around.
This is very winnable, which is very concerning to say. Again, we were in a 5 versus 3 not 20 seconds ago. A little bit nervous, but it is harder to attack when you've got so many angles to cover here as just 2 attackers, and knowing one of you needs to be holding that diffuser and getting it down the ground leaves you in an effective 1v2 for a while. So the longer they leave this, the sooner that clock becomes the 6th man for the defenders, and it really is kind of what you might say is a 3v2 in essence.
They know at least where one of the positions is, but the flash comes in perfectly done. Nias then manages to take down Pecan. 2 versus 1 now. Daystar could be left seriously kicking themselves. Nias is in a position to think about putting this diffuser down. He just needs a little bit of support against Azuki, and they just got a little bit mistimed there. But it's Azuki versus Mitty. Who is going to come out on top? Mitty is the one with low health. I think he knows exactly where Azuki is. But a quick pre-fire around the corner does the job. And Daystar managed to close it out. They needed that one, Des. That would have been a huge throw had they not got it done. They were 5 versus 3 at a point.
Saving the round there. Big time is Azuki. It shouldn't have come down to a 1v1, but it did. Good effort by Dplus Kia. Daystar managed to hold on. And I touched on this on our broadcast yesterday, I want to say. I was looking at all our operator-based stats throughout the competition. Mira has the most clutches of any operator by an absolute country mile when it comes to this tournament, and I think you can see why. Often the last one left alive, always got that Vector, a brilliant gun for a 1v1 given its fire rate. And while you've just seen another one of those added onto the board. Great stuff. 1-1, and back up to the top floor we go.
Yeah, really well played from Azuki. Little 1v2, didn't panic, got the job done for his team. And like you say, gonna just try again on that top floor. They have to be more aware of the possibility of play coming in from beneath rather than the Deimos this time. Nias is going to be stacking up. It was Bullet on the Deimos last time, but Nias is going to be stacking up on the Buck. We saw it use it in the last round. I say that, and it all switches again. There we go. So Bullet's going to go on to Deimos, and there's not going to be a Buck. So they need to be aware of it. They need to be aware of it here to Daystar. I think that Dplus Kia were expecting to be on the mid floor, by the way, then. I think that's why we've just seen the change. I think initially they were probably droning in thinking that they were going to be attacking bunks and briefing, and that was the lineup that they'd chosen. And then when they've seen its top floor, they've switched back to what they did previously. It worked so well. So a big win condition, or a big part of a win condition here for Daystar, is stopping Bullet's work underneath on the Deimos.
Well, Seal for now. So dance around Ops, as we've seen so many times, Tim. Normally see these keepers actually scattered in throughout Ops itself. Little love tap attempt coming on towards Seal. I believe he missed. I didn't quite get the damage down. But for now, looking to wait a little bit of time, and then will dig himself back in behind that table and get a nice little setup going on with those keepers. But honestly, would have liked to see a little bit more of an aggressive hold inside of Ops itself. We saw a wonderful one coming out in the series yesterday between Furia and Weibo, but ultimately it was, you know, handled as it often can be, but it's more a case again of putting up more hurdles in front of the attackers to waste time, because as it stands now, Falls is going to march into Ops to start working his way forwards. No real bother, no real challenge.
Pecan just trying to hold on from Rocket Stairs. So this is part of what I was talking about in dealing with what Bullet was able to do last time. They have adapted to that. They've played the Malusi there on Rocket Stairs instead, so it prevents Bullet just being able to walk in and take the ground that he did like he did last time around. But he does have the shotgun. That wouldn't be a bad weapon to be taking this close fight. That's exactly what he's going to go for. But I like this. They've managed to just create a bit of distance, but then somehow Bullet closes him down. Manages to get the headshot with the shotty onto Pecan. Mitty elsewhere, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, it is 5 versus 3.
And they're ready for the flank this time. They've learned from last time, Tim. They know that Azuki tried to come up behind them, so they stuck a second player in behind Bullet, and he's done all the work required. It's 5 versus 2. They've bypassed the Goyo canister, the craziest one. That was there to slow them down, Tim, but it's got round 2 gadgets.
And again, exactly the same as last time. Bullet's gone underneath, and now he starts using the tracks, and he will just start bullying this smoke from below. He's going to force them into bad positions. Joe somehow just kind of wheeling around, jumps up on a counter, manages to find the kill, and Daystar fight their way back into this one. A 2v5 becomes a 2v3 as they get quick kills back to back, but the problem that they've got is that Dplus Kia are starting to soften up the site and look for a plant.
Falls has got fire here as well. They can force Seal out from behind this desk. If he gets it in there, then Seal is dead to rights. Don't peek him at this point. They don't need to. Fire is more than an... They thought someone was in the corner. Fair enough. I was like, wrong gadget? What? Why have we burnt fire? I don't understand. I don't understand.
This is a mistake from Dplus Kia, like you say.
What are we doing? I'm sorry, but that was so easy to read. A fire. Okay, they got one in there, granted. One fire did go down behind it.
Not good enough.
But why not both in there? I think they were so terrified of a player being just inside the breach when, as we saw, there wasn't. You know, a moment on drones that revealed that. They could have got both fires down, burnt Seal out, smoked off the wide angle in front of the desk so he couldn't be challenged as he goes in for a plant deep, and that would have been it, round over. But instead, they've somewhat misplayed that, Tim.
I think what's happened there, or a part of what's happened there, is Bullet went to work underneath on the Deimos. He tracks the smoke, which I think is the operator that you would assume would be playing in behind the desk, possibly, because he's going to be there to smoke off the plant spot. He's going to be in behind those keeper barricades. As it was, he wasn't. So he was more towards display. So then Bullet relocates, goes for the challenge there, but then they lose the Deimos. And, you know, maybe if Bullet doesn't commit quite so heavily to that challenge on the smoke and, nope, I'm here to deal with behind the desk.
I didn't feel like Joe was the key operator to get rid of.
No, the one behind the desk is the key spot in that situation. That's going to be the one that makes it difficult for you to put the diffuser down. So I think they've just got a little bit blinded. They've just got a little bit distracted by the other stuff that was going on. Bullet's committed a little bit too heavily to that attack there onto the smoke. He's lost his life for it. And then, to be fair, it's still then an error from Dplus Kia because they still had the utility that they needed to deal with Seal behind that desk. They just didn't deploy it well enough, unfortunately. But these are the fine margins that we're dealing with. and you've got to give Daystar, you know, the credit where it's due there, because they haven't panicked. Joe has dealt with bullet from below when he's being pushed by Hidemos. He's got himself into that, you know, that little space up on the counter there, and he's been able to use his shotgun brilliantly. He's slowed down the push onto him with the Toxic Babe canisters. Great situational awareness from him. And then Seal, with his Kiba barricades, has got himself onto some beautiful angles. He's not panicked when the fire has come in, because it's not come close enough to him, and he's got himself a couple of kills. Brilliant stuff from Daystar. They take the lead 2-1.
It's the same conversation I was having in round 2 about throwing away these massive man advantages. That's a 5v2 that Dplus Kia have given away, and they will be kicking themselves for letting that happen. But we move on. We're into the second quarter of the game now. Let's see how things march on. And we have got the Thatcher coming along in this round. And we've seen some really interesting uses of this operator on this map. You know, Fury yesterday, for example, had their pre-placed nitros. They were dealt with by the Thatcher so that a Blandit could run on forward, only to die straight to a shotgun waiting on the other end. It wasn't ideal, but it does mean that you can undo a lot of the threat that might come from the other side with their gadget, so keep an eye on that. I actually don't know. Maybe you'll know. Can you Thatcher EMP a warden when his glasses are on? I would assume so.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But I haven't seen it throughout the tournament so far.
No, we haven't seen it happen.
What are we doing? Okay, fair.
It was certainly the old way of dealing with the warden was to drop the EMP just above him outside of the map. Levy is going to pick up an opener with a nade there. So that's Seal taken out. The hero of the last round is off the board, leaving us 5 versus 4. And the clearance can continue now for Dplus Kia.
Yeah. Seal was in a rock and a hard place, but this is again one of those rounds where we're in a 5v2, Tim. I'm sure we can close it this time.
Yeah, I don't think Dplus Kia will be making the same mistakes. Both of the players remaining on the side of the defence are up on the top floor, so it is now just a case of chase them down and go for kills. He's got a Blackbeard up in his face. Really nice kill there from Souffle. Manages to take out Falls, but he's not going to get any more. You could see bullets coming from all directions there. Dplus Kia had him surrounded. They managed to level things up 2-2.
All right, much better and much more clinical is the key thing to stress. We got to the 5v2 and I was like, okay, breathe, hold on. A little nervous when they got down to the Blackbeard and there's a shotgun in hand, but after losing the second player, I think there was just no chance they managed to clutch that one out. As you say, it keeps things tight at 2 apiece. Dplus Kia, that reminder again, this is their map pick. You'd expect to see a pretty good defense coming out of them, and I touched on that stat earlier. Daystar have been the worst attacking team at the tournament that's still remaining, 26% attacking win rate. They've still got to make their attacks work in this second half. They've shown they can win on this map, granted, but again, it is Dplus Kia's map pick. It's where they'll feel most comfortable.
Okay, then down to the base. You're exactly right, Des. I was just thinking the same thing before coming in here. I thought, you know, yeah, it's not been a bad, you know, start for Daystar. 2-2 is not the end of the world for them, but they've got to attack yet. And I think Dplus Kia will be even better when they get onto that side of the map. So really, I think Daystar need to get themselves 2 back-to-back rounds now, find the 4-2 half, and then they do give themselves a platform that they can build from. But it's looking less and less likely the more that Dplus Kia attack, because just round after round they seem to have these big opportunities and are quite happy to take them. This time I'm just looking at the lineup they've got. Keep an eye on Nears. He's going to be playing the knock. You just never know where they're going to pop up. Of course, keeping themselves off the cams and very, very quietly moving throughout the map. They can always provide some surprises. And then other than that, we're fairly standard. We've got the Roteros, we've got the Blackbeard, we've got the Boogie drones of the Ram. So it's going to be a mid-floor clear. Try and get in there and create some verticals.
Yeah, same sort of stuff, absolutely. All right, let's see how we fare. Nears, especially the one... you see a nut picked up and you're just like, ooh, what are they cooking, Tim? They've got something special waiting in line for us. Of course, it was a while ago now that the changes came in where that gadget can technically last pretty much forever. As long as you aren't sprinting or shooting or doing anything to wear down the gadget's charge, you can just very merrily walk through the map for an unlimited amount of time and be invisible to those cameras. Doesn't mean you're invisible to players, and as you're seeing here, Daystar like to ask a few questions early in the round. Falls with that shield in front of his face means he'll be alive and well. But even now, Joe's looking to ask questions from a different angle as a nade comes on through. Sees a player sprint back across. It is Pecan. So already, Tim, we've got a couple of players on the side of Dplus Kia starting to look at sight here and maybe even considering a bit of a rush in because a couple of players aren't even here.
Yeah, Falls has just got himself into lockers again. He's just taking what's offered to him. He's just walking in there, having a look and thinking, well, you know what? If you're not going to play anybody in there, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to push through. He now gets himself into missile. There's been a drone ahead of him as well. So he can just sit on that side door and he can just start to make life a little bit of a nuisance. They do know he's there, but it starts taking attention.
It does. And this is the real danger of shields. Like, you might look at a Blackbeard and say, well, he's died an awful lot this tournament, so is he really that effective? It's the threat that he provides, the distraction, the attention that he draws away from the defenders that what makes him so potent. Yeah, the gun's fantastic and having frag grenades is also great, but it's what it means when you can do things like this. Nia's marching on forward, trying to do what he can, but this is why we have those thorn traps on side. Tim did slow him down. It's a kill back and forth, but 2 kills go the way of both teams here at this point, down to a 3v3.
They have managed to take down the Blackbeard. That is a big kill for Daystar, but Azuki, Pecan, both taking damage. Souffle manages to pick up Mitty. It's all up to Bullet and Nia's from here. Nade goes out, just trying to get people moving. 2 versus 3 now as Dplus Kia try to march on through, but Azuki had a great round down in the basement last time around, hitting that 1v2. Now steps up for his team again, takes down Nia's, and it's all up to Bullet in the 1v3. Diffuser down cold as well, and they've got one up above Des.
If anyone can do it, it's Bullet, let's be frank, but I think even he's probably a little bit out of his depth here. There's just so many angles that you can be challenged on down here. He's got the right idea, sees the mirror and finds the headshot. That's a great kill. Now looking for the second, but has to be so careful of the verticals up above. Last 15, doesn't have the diffuser either. Sorely needs to win this gunfight, but I don't think he'll be given the chance, Tim. He's also got to find a way to get the diffuser, which is down towards his south. He ain't going to have any clue on where it is and how to get there right now. Has to win this gunfight. 1 HP to his name and does get it, but 2 seconds left. This round is over.
The mistake from... I don't think he wins the round anyway. Bullet played that really well. 1v3 down to a 1v1. He walked past the diffuser. He was in the room with the diffuser, and he's gone in looking for the kills. Nothing wrong with that, but he's left the diffuser on the ground. You know, had he been aware of that and grabbed it on his way, with that 2 seconds, he could have at least tried. You know, he could have, I think, like I said, Souffle has done the right thing. He's taken the top floor. He's taken the vertical there. He's just going to pick him up as he tries to put the diffuse down. But still, you know, there was a possible opportunity there. But a good round from Daystar again. Not being rattled. You know, they went in there, they lost a couple of bodies. Dplus Kia got aggressive. But Daystar, they were confident in their core positions, particularly Azuki and where he was playing on that mirror. And they were able to just sort of scrap their way through the round. 3-2. I said they needed a 4-2. I stand by that. I'm not sure 3-3 will be enough when Dplus Kia get themselves onto the defense, but Daystar, they've still got that chance. They could still get 4-2. It's going to be a last attempt up on the top floor.
I want to go back to the entry as well for a moment, because back on that previous map, across all 12 rounds, we only saw 4 entries going the way of Daystar. It has somewhat continued onto this map as well, but currently 4-1 on the entry to Dplus Kia. So, there is work for them to do. Even though they're getting the entry, the actual conversion has been the problem for them. You can't be starting strong and then seeing rounds going the other way. This is where you've really got to see discipline. And we saw that a little bit at the close of the last round. Yeah, Bullet was left 1v3, but that's only because Nia's, I think it was, went in to try and go for a challenge when Bullet was nowhere near the action. He was still holding off towards a breach, expecting to get pushed onto. And at the same time, someone else on your team is doing something different and trying to go aggressive. You've got to be in sync, as we've seen. The top teams have done this all week long, Tim. When they move as a unit with the same idea in mind. Very rarely do they take actions independently, and that is what I think cost them a little bit in that 2 versus 3 that could have been won. But instead, as you said, they find themselves down, around and behind, looking to try and play catch-up.
Nias has just drawn his way through ops and into the corridor, so he knows that that's not being held. Falls is going to look to go in and take that ground again. It's something that Dplus Kia have done quickly every single time. Bullet on the Deimos is working from exactly the same position, so this should come as no surprise to Daystar whatsoever. I think this time he may focus more on that position behind desk, but it's going to be Levy who manages to kick things off. 5-1 on the entry now as he picks up Azuki. That's the Malusi gone, and that's Mezzanine now opening up a little bit ahead of Dplus Kia.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? They've really got to get a move on now. Levy's inside the bathroom and starting his push on forward. So smokes get rolled out and towards Mez. Bullet once again making that push, but Pecan gets him while half flashed out. Finally gets pushed in from bathroom. I will give it to them, Tim. Their push on towards Mez and bathroom every single round has been excellent.
Brilliant kill from Nias. Knows where Seal is located. Manages to open up that soft wall and find the angle. It was a tough one, but he got the job done. That really opens things up. 3v2 though, as Souffle again. He always has these big flashpoint moments. Out of the map he goes, gets a kill and gets Daystar back into this, but Falls is putting the diffuser down and he's almost certainly going to be able to stick it. Toxic Babe goes out too late. The damage is done.
Really, really good round from Dplus Kia, and they haven't messed up the plant this time around. They've ensured there isn't a player in behind the desk, despite there being keepers there, and have managed to get a plant down. And this is the thing, when you see them attacking like that, you just think, these guys are actually really good at this stuff. They can attack very, very well. just sometimes they make these really questionable decisions in the middle of rounds that cost them ultimately. Losing out 5vx situations, sometimes losing out in the plant situation like we saw on this site earlier on, and that has given Daystar a window here to still be competitive. 3 attacks will guarantee OT, 4 will see them with the map win, and that will take us into Chalet.
Yeah, round 7 I think is going to be particularly important here because it's going to answer the question for us of how capable are Daystar on the attack of Lair today. That's going to be a really important point because Dplus Kia now, they can just lock down top floor, basement. If they can get those 2 sites done and defended, then they win and they head through into that next round of the lower bracket against Weibo later on today. So it's down to Daystar now. They're the ones. The onus is on them to start breaking this down. Given that it is Dplus Kia's map choice, we know that they're good here. I think it's 3rd preference for them overall. They're 5-2 in recent history. They have got a pedigree here, and I think that their defending is going to be pretty good.
Definitely. Big one for me, I'm thinking about later on already for the Weibo game. If Dplus Kia come up against Weibo, they actually played each other just a few short months ago for the major qualifier. Weibo won 2-0 on Lair and Bank, going 7-3 and 7-5. That's only a rematch that I can imagine they're gagging to try and get online with, and, correct old wrongs as it might be. And as much as people hate watching Dplus Kia, Tim, they will then stand as the last remaining APAC team and will be the best team in APAC if they can get that done. I'm sure many want to see Weibo make a deep run because they've played very well this tournament so far. Fantastic on the attacking side. Just yesterday was a little bit of an off day for a couple of their key players, and ultimately they were against Furia, who for me at least now are probably in contention as one of the favourites to win it all.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to argue against Fury. It always comes down to form, doesn't it? Again, it's something that I often speak about. The ability to win tournaments is not necessarily being the best team in the world. It's being the best team at the right time. And it's about form. It's about being able to, have those big matches, have those big performances when you need to. We see teams quite often win a tournament and then come in and struggle in the next. And so it's not always about, your overall. It's a point in time. And Furia, they were great yesterday, but will that continue day after day? Rotero drone is going to go in, remove the mirror window, and open up that soft wall. So that is Ops now softened up. It's going to allow Joe to crawl in on his belly, see if he can find anybody through there on the glass, and just take that ground more importantly and prevent Dplus Kia from playing inside of mezzanine.
What do you think he swapped gun there, Tim?
Sorry?
Really curious to hear your thoughts. Why do you think he swapped the gun to shoot the camera?
I don't know, Des.
Maybe, I was going to say maybe not to indicate who the operator is because they've tried to keep the glass relatively tucked away.
More than likely, there's an element of that. Maybe a little bit of ammunition management if he thinks he's going to be pushed, doesn't want to reload.
We were watching the football for a little bit with Doki on Saturday, and he was saying, literally, I can hear that there's 2 1-speeds coming from this direction of the map, and I can tell you exactly who they are. Like, I just know what we're being hit with, if it's going to be a rush, whatever else it is. Like, the cues they pick up from sounds just on footsteps alone tells you an awful lot, right? So I'd be kind of surprised if Dplus Kia aren't somewhat anticipating this, especially given there is that Warden on the other side.
Daystar are moving a little bit slowly at the minute, is my concern. We're a minute 10 left in the round. We haven't really seen Pecan do much yet. We see now the track come out from the Deimos. It's going to be onto Mitty, but he's over the far side of the map. It's not really going to help him out too much. He actually drops down to go and have a look for a fight with this Deimos possibly, because obviously Deimos gives his position back over to the other side as well. Nearly gets caught out, but Mitty just ahead of where he needs to be there. So 45 seconds and Daystar not too much progress. The fire canisters have started going out from the Tachanka, as of the Toxic Babes, and that is now
a bit there,
preventing this plant from going down.
They're almost like oversacking a little bit, I want to say.
They just stood waiting.
But like you say, Levy's just very happy to sit here and just keep on raining down fire because he can keep on doing this all day long. Still got 10 left. And as you know, Tim is our resident Chanka expert. That is enough time to keep things locked on through. But Joe's in behind the glass. But look at this, nice and close. Must hear the rip, surely. All he's got to do is spray. If he looks up towards his side and find his man, but no! Joe pushes out the smoke. A C4 up over the top. He's going to find his man as we're into the final 5 seconds. They get another kill. It is panic stations for the other side. Mitty, the last one standing as we get to the last 2 seconds. He's done all that he needs to hold on. And Dplus Kia will win with the help of the clock.
That was really nice from Dplus Kia there. There was no panic in them. So what happens, there was all sorts going on at the same time there. I'll break down for you a little bit what happened. Azuki goes in for the plant in the normal spot, just inside of that mezzanine wall. Tachanka sends the Shumikers over. Levy manages to hit the spot beautifully, by the way, from the far side. He's on the R6 room wall, and he still manages to hit that plant spot. In goes the Shumiker canister, so Azuki has to move, because you can't plant within the time frame, if you're wondering. As soon as the Shumiker goes down, you're going to die before that case is completed. So Azuki moves. He moves up onto mask wall, and the plant is still going down. The kills are raining in. Bullet, however, he has the presence of mind to not take any other fights, and he just sends the nitro over towards Azuki. He triggers that nitro. Azuki is dropped. The diffuser's down on the ground. Dplus Kia recognise very quickly at this point that 2v3 has just become about survival, because they've stopped the plant and it's down cold on the ground. They predict that Daystar will make the call to go for kills, and Mitty just keeps himself out of danger as much as he can. This is the nitro, absolutely beautiful, but they know that nobody's in position, so now Mitty starts dropping deeper into sight so that he can play that game of protecting himself and keeping himself out of trouble. Really, really nice round from Dplus Kia, just managing to rescue that situation that initially seemed extremely chaotic.
Okay, let's see if we can get this one done. Dplus Kia have got a chance here to go 2 rounds clear and get themselves moving, but I'm looking at that lineup from Daystar, and they are gagging for an execute sim. That round going upstairs to clear things out, of course, making sure those upper floors are locked down with the gridlock once that's done. And then in towards that Raura yet again. Now, Raura, as we spoke about an awful lot, Tim, as I said when she first came into the game, lowest win rate of any operator in the game. She was frankly absolutely awful. I think because teams were often trying to make set-piece plays work with her, but then realizing actually there are several holes in this that are very easy to figure out, or teams have got responses to it, and so she wasn't very effective. But now they've had a little bit of time with her, you do find she's got this really cool spot as an operator where, like a few other ops in the game, she's very, very niche. She's got very, very specific use cases on certain sites. So when you see one, you know that a team has got something cooked up. So keep an eye on Souffle and where he looks to make use of these gadgets.
Yeah, very much the same as Castle in a lot of ways. You know, if you bring in a Castle along, it's not what we'd call sort of general utility. It's not something like a book or a sledge. It's kind of just always useful. You know, you've got a very specific plan for it. Bullet manages to pick up Souffle. That's a big opener. That's the Raura gone. So we're not going to get to see what the plan was after all that talking. Thanks for that, Bullet. So it leaves us 5 versus 4. He's going to drop back to side. This is a really important round for Daystar. You know, we often talk about these rounds sort of later in, maybe round 9, round 10. But for me, this is the one, because if you remember, coming into the second half, I said Dplus Kia, they just need 4 rounds to win this one. So they need their primary site and their secondary site. If they can lock down top floor and basement, it doesn't matter what else happens. This is the first attempt on basement. They've already locked down top floor, so you start then looking, if they get this one done, thinking they are heading towards that 2-0. Daystar, now is the time to step up.
I love Mitty's set up here with the trip, by the way, because it makes it so hard to... Never mind, he's dead.
The Casa Curse is real this round. The Monte manages to knock Nias down, and Pecan is there to finish the kill. Azuki is likely to be collected as well at this point, because Falls, I was going to say Bullet are both down in sight, but no, Bullet's lurking. He is waiting, but they're aware of his position. If he comes around, it's an easy pickup. They have the drone intel on him, and that is Bullet out of the round. 1v4 now. 25 seconds, that is going to be the key factor.
So look how much time they can waste here, Tim. They've still got Denaris down, they've still got 2 smokes they can play with. He can't really drop into this too easily. If he does, he'll take a bit of damage, and no doubt a second one can follow on through here. Going to start his push, sees the operator. Did he miss his legs to the right? He must have... No! He must have seen his feet, Tim! Time is on their side! Daystar! They're going to absolutely crumble, Tim! Down to the last 2 or 3 seconds. Falls has got to look to his right, and he does! Dplus Kia! They hold on, but how on earth have Daystar let that one get away from them?
What a clutch from Falls. Absolutely beautiful stuff. There was just no panic like in the round previous. It didn't matter the situation. A 1v4 locked out. Des, I think the whole audience was screaming there. You've seen his legs. You know where he is. But the Monte, for whatever reason, just didn't. The thing is, you're taking a drop, you've 20 seconds left to go, there is a lot going on there, and you're scanning quickly.
Nia's had a lot of fun spanning the whole time after that.
You're scanning around that room quickly. There's lots of factors that come into it. We see the legs. You know, the players can all play on, I'm not giving them excuses, but they can all play on different ratios, different, setups. But also, you're going into that room quickly, and you're scanning around the room.
You'll see yourself on the replay, Tim. It's unreal.
If you don't know, or you don't see what you don't see, and if you just tunnel vision towards maybe a specific location that you think that player is around, it is what it is.
And the self-flash as well.
This from Falls, those two
They're
kills
phenomenal.
are the one for me.
They're phenomenal.
Getting the Monty is a bit of luck. That's the bit of luck that you need, that the Monty doesn't see you. But then Falls hitting them 2 long-range kills with the SMG. Unreal from him.
I always say it, Tim, for a player to go 1v4 like that, the other side really has to flop up, and the errors are very obvious, but it's still on that one player to be able to hit those shots, as you say, and make the play that he did. But it's certainly not helped by Daystar. 1, missing his legs, and 2, flashing their Monty, who then turns towards the left rather than towards the right, and they pay the price as a result. That is going to be a bit of a mental break, and no doubt Daystar, well, it's starting to look more like it's getting towards dusk at this point, and that moon's starting to rise, and they could be going into that sweet good night if this carries on. 2 more chances before they're sent home.
Yeah, a brilliant tournament it has been from them. They've certainly given plenty of entertainment, and there might be plenty more left to come. But like you say, they are now down to the wire. Just 2 more chances. And the big risk here, as I said, Dplus Kia have won the top floor. They've won the basement. Yes, both of them have had to have been kind of grasped from the jaws of defeat, but they have got them done. And you look, when they rotate around, when they continue on, Pecans has just wandered into sight here. I don't think you're going to find anybody because the majority of them are upstairs, but you do have Mitty down with you in bunks, so maybe there will be a little bit of a coming together.
All right. Let's be careful. Super Bowl was last night. No more throws, thank you. Let's play this one sensibly, Daystar. We know you can fight it back because we've already gone through. Your record on this map is pretty solid. We've seen good performances from you. One of them being here at this event already. That 7-1 they had, very impressive. They can recover, but it's got to be done safely and sensibly. They stepped away from the shield in this round, Tim. And I'm already feeling at least slightly nervous because no one has gone down too early on here. They've still got 2 players to worry about upstairs. We're getting towards the last 60 seconds, and the site is on the first floor. There is a lot to do still.
There is a lot of work to be done. They've not really cleared a lot of utility inside the site. We're going to see nades start going in. That might be to move players around, but also to give them a little bit of access, take out barbed wire, those sorts of things. But yeah, I think Dplus Kia are reasonably in control here. They've still got Falls and Levy up on the top floor. They're the ones to watch really at the minute. They're in a position to push forward and get aggressive here, and it's something Daystar can't take their eyes off. I think Seal is very aware of that fact, but Nias does manage to pick up 1. That's going to be a kill onto Joe with the nitro, leaving us now 5 versus 4. 20 seconds left to go. Look, Daystar, they've got to start pushing into sight, and Levy's going to hurt them.
For sure. It's again 10 seconds left or so at this point. It's going to be an absolute calamity again, Tim. I said they had to tighten things up instead. They're really going for throwing this one away as quickly as they can. We're looking into a 6-3 lead here for Dplus Kia. Mizuki going to get absolutely nothing. Not even a single kill. And no rounds to be found in this half either. It is looking bad for Daystar.
Yeah, Dplus Kia know that they've got this one in the bag. They are 6-3 up now. They've just done a complete defensive rotation on there. 2 of the rounds were very close. If Daystar can refocus here, there is definitely opportunities for them to win on top floor and basement based on what we've seen previously. But I just feel like maybe the spirit is broken a little bit at this point. I'm sure they've had a wonderful tournament at SI26, but they can feel that they are right on the verge of going out. They will have desperately wanted to continue, but you can kind of see it on the faces now. It's all looking a little bit glum, a little bit low energy. They just need somebody to fire up and refocus them.
I'm just really sad that we don't get to see those jerseys anymore.
Yeah,
Every single time I walk out in the lobby, they're the one that your eyes are immediately drawn to because they're so bright. But I think they're really, really cool.
Alright, let's go, guys. Let's go. Heads up, heads up, heads up.
Potentially Harambe's last timeout here for his team. An attempt to try and get them back into things. And it may be an attempt that we only see last for a single round if things carry on as they have. Dplus Kia have had a lot of fun this half. 2 rounds being won thanks to the clock especially, and of course a couple of misplays thrown in there as well. But this does look to be a 2-0 for them, and that rematch against Weibo from just a few months ago will be on the cards. A chance for them to get revenge more than anything else. Let's see if they can get it done here in round 10.
If that's how it goes, it's going to be a hell of a match later on today. Not one to miss here on the B stream. Dplus Kia versus Weibo will be, I've got a feeling, a little bit of a classic, because Weibo, they had a tough day of it yesterday against Furia. They're going to be coming back with a little bit of fire, a little bit of aggression, I think, wanting to put a marker down and make a statement. But Dplus Kia have got to get there first. It's up on the top floor. It is round 10. They have got 3 chances to lock this one down. 2-0. And for me, unless something changes after that tactical timeout, I feel like Daystar are a little bit broken. And we're not going to see necessarily the best out of them for this round.
I mean, they're going for broke, Tim. They've got the Rara on side again. Of course, seeing the Sens coming out. So they've got an idea in mind, but an idea is just that until the execution really comes to bear. So, last time around they had the Rara. Souffle was the one playing it. He got picked off as the entry. We never got to see that operator have an effect. We'll see if they can do it in round 10. Now, back in the first half, Bullet was an absolute madman, charging his way at Rocket seemingly every single round and deleting everything that he came across. No matter what you sent at him, whether it was Goyo canisters, whether it was Maluses, he still managed to find a way through. Are we going to see someone else on the side of Daystar try and do that to repeat back onto Dplus Kia what Dplus Kia did to them? That remains to be seen, because for now we've got 3 players gathered up inside of Ops. That is their single point of focus. 2 players in Ops, sorry. He's peeking underneath.
Pecan's underneath on the book. He's just looking to, I think, assist Mask Wall, because they've got Bullet on the Kaid, who's playing with the Electroclaws there. So they just want to be getting him moved along once they're in position to breach. But this is good from Daystar. They've recognised the ground that they've been given, and they've gone in and taken it. There's been no real resistance from Dplus Kia into allowing them into Ops. So good stuff so far.
They're using the 2 Rara really early on the actual door in towards the A site, because it reopens up the Rara, so it hasn't got a chance to deploy here and make Mez safe for them to come down. So they can keep on playing this if they want to, and just keep on seeing it delayed out until eventually it will get rolled down again at some point. But for now, for Joe, it's a nice, lovely little sightline all the way through. And there we go. We'll shoot it out. That now gives him a little bit more safety to clear out Mez and focus on getting this op wall opened up. I like it. But yet again, it's been frozen out. So it just opens straight back up. It's all going to slow Daystar down. And they've lost 2 rounds this half already to the clock. And this certainly isn't helping.
Yeah, this is great. This is great from Dplus Kia. Fully prepared for what's going on here. We're going to see the Grimbees go in just to try and assist the push from top Rocket Stairs and try and get Mezzanine from this other side. And the pressure is going to start mounting on the player in behind Desk. But guess what? Bullet saw it coming. He's already moved. He's out of position and he's got a kill onto Joe. That leaves them now 5 versus 4. 45 seconds left to go. And they can start holding their final positions here, Dplus Kia. They haven't even started with the Shumika launcher yet.
Good point, Tim. They've got 17 of them left. They can literally cake the whole site 3 times over if they need to here. And they've still got smokes coming on through. There is very little that Daystar can do. Once again, they have painted themselves into a corner where the clock is their worst enemy. Even now burning out this fire onto Mezzanine itself. Bullet will get down, but they need far more than just a down, I'm afraid, Tim. They need magic.
Yeah, it looks like Bullet might even be collected. Niers has made a move in his direction, but they're going to go in for the plant. No real choice otherwise. Niers taken out by Seal. The cover is there. The plant is stuck. This is good from Daystar. They continue fighting 2 versus 3, but Bullet is one of the 3, so effectively 2 versus 2. But how about this? Levy, he's going to go and pick his man up. That could be a big choice. It gets another gun on the board.
Oh, Mittia went off running up towards Highway as well to see if he could help on Mass, but no, it was closed off, and now all 3 have joined together. They need to get Seal. He's the main man holding the key power position for them. They're going to step round and lose at least 1. They're going to swing round for the Chanka for the second, but Seal gets another, and now looking for number 3. The C4 not quite finding his man. Bullet has got to go now, Tim, but I'm afraid he's out of time. Daystar managed to hold on by the skin of their teeth.
Tactical timeout sees them through 1 more round. They've got 2 more to go to take us into overtime. I think 1 more and fans will start to dream. It is 6-4 still for Dplus Kia. I said, to be fair to Daystar, the attack on top floor first time around, the attack on basement first time around were both close losses. They were mistakes that could be avoided. there is an opportunity for them to get another one.
Oh dear, oh dear. I've just seen that we're going back to the same site, but there's a small tweak in the lineup for Dplus Kia Team. We've got an Echo coming along. And if you need to deny in some way, well, that's certainly the way to do it, because all of the tools they've got have done the job wonderfully so far. They've gone in towards having Levy on the Chanker. They've had the smoke previously too. They've got a couple of C4s to play behind, but now they're adding a third layer of denial. And I'm seeing it, and I just kind of know what's coming. And my heart is already breaking for Daystar here. It was a really, really good effort and great cover from Seal, like I say. He was in a perfect position, just in behind where he could see the other side of the wall to know who was coming and be able to take any gunfights onto them. Wonderful stuff. And he also was the one that got the business done at the very back end of the round 2. Let's see what they can get away with, Tim. It's a full change in lineup, a full change in... I'm not too sure about the Ram, granted. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where the Ram comes in there.
Noise.
Yeah, that's going to be the only reason that you're going to bring the Ram along. Really, it's not going to gain you too much otherwise. They were teasing the dock a bit to begin with, but they moved away from that. I don't know if that was a play into, maybe assuming that Dplus Kia would put somebody on the mid floor because of the work that the Buck did from underneath last time around. So they were kind of trying to lean into seeing if they could, be able to take that roam out. But interestingly, this time they're going to put a little bit of pressure on from the other side. So Seal looks over towards R6 room, knows that there could be a little bit of a peek out of that door as he relocates himself around to display window. So last time around from Daystar, it was kind of all very one-sided. It was ops, it was mezzanine. It meant that Dplus could focus towards that area, but this time they're mixing it up a little bit. I like Seal's position on display window that he's going to leave.
Yeah, you cast a curse in there, Tim. You scared him off.
It would appear so.
It's like when we disrupted Spiker's sleep the other day. Yeah. Bro, didn't appreciate that one.
I think it would have been a good idea to maintain some pressure over on the far side of the map here, because Dplus Kia otherwise are just going to sit and watch ops, and at the minute that's where all of the pressure from Daystar is coming.
The pressure can still come. But it's certainly not great to lose your entry yet again. We spoke about how dominant throughout this series the Dplus Kia have been on the entry, and while that certainly hasn't changed on this map, they've got all but 2 entries, Tim.
Pecan's working his way through Skybridge here to try and get a little bit of aggression onto that top side, as I was kind of suggesting would be a good idea, but you just saw the Yokai drone jump up in front of you there. Mitty has got information. He's working hand in hand with Nia's. Bullet manages to pick up another. They haven't really got anything on side to deal with this Echo. No IQ has been brought along, no intel to be able to feed them and tell them where these cams are coming from, and Dplus Kia are winning the round, they're winning the match on this intel at the minute.
They're so spread apart as well, Tim. Pecan's actually won out his gunfight here on Highway despite having the Yokai to assist Mitty. It's a start, but as I was just saying, Daystar are trying to push 3 different angles all at once, and that is normally a recipe for disaster. But every player on Dplus Kia is dug in pretty tight, all playing in close proximity and looking to support one another. Bullet, 17 kills on this map, Tim. He wants to go through to that game against Weibo, and they're about to lock it in here, unless Pecan can carry on. He's a good for 2.
Souffle's moved his way into bathroom as well, so there is pressure coming from both sides, but as soon as one goes, it makes it difficult for the other. Pecan taken out over on the top side. Echo stunned. They know where he is. Nia steps around and gets the final kill, and Dplus Kia continue their run in the lower bracket. They will face Weibo later today.
The expected outcome we thought we'd get, Tim, maybe not quite in the pretty fashion we thought it could happen. Dplus Kia will have to step away and do a bit of work and a hell of a lot of prep before they face off in that rematch against Weibo. Last time they lost it 2-0 in the qualifiers. So a lot to work on ahead of that game later. And of course, commiserations to Daystar. The bright jerseys and some fun moments throughout the competition. We do see them going home, but it's an improvement on the last time they were here, Tim. So it's still a success.
They can hold their heads high. They have come in here. They've given us some fantastic performances. I don't think anybody will forget about the map, the game they played against Furia for a long time.
Absolutely.
They've been part of a classic matchup at Six Invitational 26. Their journey has come to an end, but they have been fantastic competitors whilst they've been here. Dplus Kia, they continue on, and it is straight back to work for them. They'll be preparing for that next matchup.
Absolutely. they'll be locked in for this one. PJH, for example, earlier on, I saw him sat upstairs, and he was like so locked in, getting prepared for this game alone. I imagine he'll be doing exactly the same. He'll be skipping lunch, no food for him, lock in, and get ready for Weibo, because if they win that one, they're 2 games away from getting on to the main stage.
I've got a feeling that is one not to miss later on the B stream. It's match 3 on the B stream, and I think it's going to be an absolute classic. I really do. We can see the performances that have come out of Dplus Kia today. Bullet, Nias, Mitty on the last map. You know, they've all really had some big contributions there. We've had plenty of highlight-worthy moments as well. Dplus Kia certainly earning their spot in that match against Weibo.
Yeah, Bullet especially going 17-6 on that last map was insane with a 91% cost at that. It does put him right at the front here for the team's rating. 4-0 on the entry across the series too. Lights out performance from him. We've got to see a little bit more of that later as well. And while Mitty had a good first map, quiet in the second, that's why he falls down into second. But I'd say overall, Tim, a good team performance from Dplus Kia. They're going to need that later on against Weibo, like I say, because there are some players on that team that are waiting. I'm thinking about Hoven, I'm thinking about Reaps and Ape. It ain't going to be easy for them. But that's our game over.